I was able to test a KA100 today at Colorado Karting Circuit. It was my first time in the kart, and the previous fastest I've been in was Briggs LO206, so this was a really big step up. Going onto the track for a first time, I already knew the track a lot from rental races, which just the day before I got my best time to a 116.6, and I'll use that lap time as an example later on to compare how quick this car is. And going through the first corners for my first time, I was very shocked how much power the kart had and how much turning it had. I was still trying to play around with the braking zones and even learn it, such as the corner I just went through. It's usually full speed, but I was finding out that you had to brake for it really quickly, and I was overall just going really safe, trying to learn braking zones and how the car even controls. And now going on to my first lap, the last turn and the first turn are full speed, but you'll see how much I brake. I brake at the start of the outer curb and don't get on throttle until about near the end of the uphill. And for this section, my braking zone didn't really change throughout, so I ended up losing a lot of time there in later sessions. But everywhere else I was getting a lot more comfortable, specifically the turns I just went through and this sharp right turn, which I usually have a lot of trouble with on the rental karts. Going forward a bit in the session, I believe 5 laps later, I was getting more comfortable with the track and pushing a lot more, but in this corner I missed the apex. Get my right tires hooked off the edge there and spin out, which I believe that was my only spin out of the session and of all the 3 sessions I did. But it really made that corner something to think about for me, since I also struggled with it a lot in the rentals, so I knew at that point that I had to think about my approach to it and how I do it in general. Same with these corners, I was still trying to figure out the line, and I was doing about what I would do in the rentals, but it wasn't as perfect, and I believe my finishing lap time at the end of the session was around exactly 1 minute, which is 16 seconds faster than my rental lap, but I believe it was around 5 seconds off the pace that the other drivers could do. Fast forwarding to the next session, I had in mind to just improve as much as I can and redo my braking points, my lines, all that stuff. I'm going to skip to the start of my fastest lap of the session, where I started taking the first turn a bit flat out, but with a small release. And I had managed to move my braking points a bit, but this was on my 3rd lap, so I hadn't yet got too much practice in. I'm also coming up on another kart, I believe, so I had to get by them during the session too, but I believe I will do that on the next straight where the start-finish line is. Now entering the final corners. This session I had gotten a bit better, but the last few turns I was still pretty slow in. I go for the pass on the inside here, accidentally get on the curb, which did really shake me up, but I managed to keep the kart straight and continue pushing. But I didn't get another pretty fast lap until my 8th lap. Moving to another lap on the session, the owner of the kart I'm driving, Adam, was testing an electric kart, which is the kart that just went by, and it had a lot of straight speed, as you can see. And I was really shocked when I saw that, because I knew it was him, but I didn't know that he was driving a kart that fast. And at this point, he's already gapped me a lot in a kart that I believe was a bit heavier, but he did go into the pit lane right after. Maybe 2 laps later, I had a moment in the sharp right corner, which was a very scary moment for me, and it was this happened. My tires started sliding and I had to counter steer a lot. On to the final session. I had set a goal to beat my time from before, and I believe it was just a bit before when the team owner analyzed my footage and gave me some tips, which I tried to put a lot of in this session. This was my fastest lap, and I was still going into turn 1 with some small release since I wasn't too confident. This corner I got way better, especially in this lap, and I felt like I was pushing a bit more, but I still knew I was nowhere near the limit. This corner I also got very well. I was carrying a lot more speed in. And the final half was my worst section of the track, mainly because these curbs are very scary and rock you a lot, and I haven't yet developed a line that gave me a good line through there, or had me hop on the curbs a bit. And that was now the end of my final lap, which I believe was a 57.9, and that is a few seconds off race pace, but knowing that there is a lot to improve on, I know that I could reach that. Now, going to the end of my session, I had to cut it early because my neck was extremely sore and my ribs were a bit hurt since I didn't wear protection around that. And since this track is so technical, it really rocks you. So my body was extremely sore. But the fact that I did manage to get a 57-second lap time in, which was 19 seconds faster than the rentals, was a really big thing for me today.